Welcome to the ASCII Experts online forum. In this short video, I will talk about variables and data types. So, like most of other object-oriented programming languages, Java has two kinds of basic data types. One is primitive data type and another is reference data type or custom data type or built-in data type. So within primitive data type there are numeric types, and there are Boolean and return address. Okay, and again numeric type has its two major classes: floating type, and it has two types, primitive types, float and double, and then another numeric type is integer type. So it has byte, short, integer, long, and character types. And then again these are primitive data types. And the second types, as I mentioned, that is custom data type or reference data type, that we define and use class, interface, array type, enumeration, etc. So let us talk about these primitive data types. So this chart shows the range of primitive data types. So Boolean, it actually takes either true or false value. Any Boolean type variable takes either a true or false value, neither except that, nothing beyond that. So it takes, actually it has only one data bit. Okay, then I will talk about that soon. Then character types, it takes 2 bytes, then byte takes 1 byte, short takes 2 bytes, integer takes 4 bytes memory space, and then long takes 8 bytes, and float takes 4 bytes, and double takes 8 bytes as well. So when we assign a variable in most of the in Java and in most of the programming languages, so while we assign variables, we have to assign its data type. According to the data, we have to assign what kind of data we will store on this variable. So we will see this later in while we will program. And in most of the programming languages, we have to predefine our data type. We have to define our data type when we declare a variable for first time. But there are some smart programming languages, so that does not require to assign data types. So, and actually those programming languages assigns data type automatically based on the first time initialization of value to a variable. So we will talk this later when we demonstrate this with actual programs. So as you saw in the previous chart, and then on this previous on this picture, actually it has, so as we see, byte type, actually byte, short, integer, long, all these are keywords, so we have to type in lowercase when we perform programs. So byte type takes 1 byte of data, and then short type takes 2 bytes, 2 consecutive bytes of data, 2 consecutive bytes of memory space, not data, sorry, and integer takes 4 consecutive byte memory space, and long type takes 8 consecutive memory space. And so let us see that how this memory space are assigned to types and how this work with variable. Okay, so when we declare, so this is for Boolean types. So in Boolean type, so as we know that it has only one data bit. It has only one data bit. So as we know that we cannot access is only a single bit memory single memory bit, but we have to usually use it for 1 byte. Okay, 1 byte. So in 1 byte, so this the rightmost byte is bit 0 and leftmost bit is bit 7. So for Boolean type, only the rightmost bit is used as a data bit, and then other 7 bits are unused. These 7 bits are not used. So that's only one data bit we have. So this data bit can contain either 0 or false. So when it contains 0, then we say it is false, and when it contains 1, then we say it is true. So the range of Boolean data types is 0 to 1. That means it can contains either false or true value. Okay, then for byte types variables, byte types variable, it takes they take one memory byte, 1 byte of memory space, and then for instance we have 1 byte here, so 8 bit, and then among these 8 bytes, the leftmost bit is used as sign bit. Bit 7 is used as sign bit, and the remaining 7 bits, bit 0 to bit 6, these are 7 bits. These 7 bits are used for storing actual values of data. So the sign bit can be either 0 or 1. If a value is positive, then sign bit is 0, and then if a value is negative, then sign bit contains 1. So the lowest value it can contains, which like for instance all it can contains negative 128, negative 2000 to the power 7 equal to 128, and the maximum value it can contains all, like for instance all ones in the data bits, that will be 2 to the power 7 minus 1, that means 127. So the range is from negative 128 to positive 127, so including 0, and if all the bits data bits are 0, then it is 0. So as you saw that here the character, so except character and byte, short, integer, sign, long, integer, long, these are sign data bits, sign types. That means that for these data types, for these 4 data types, there will be a sign bit, a sign for containing sign of the data. So therefore positive value it has a sign bit 0, and for negative values it contains sign bit as 1. So this is why, except without the sign bit, the remaining bits are used for storing actual data. Okay, so this is why for byte types variable, the leftmost bit is used for containing sign, and then other bits are used for containing data. This is why we got the range from negative 2000 to the power 7 to 2 to the power 7 minus 1. That is from negative 128 to positive 127 including 0. So now similarly, so when we come for a short types variable, for a short type variable it takes 2 bytes, 2 consecutive bytes. So then the leftmost bit is used for signing sign bit, and then the remaining 15 bits are used for as data bit. So that the range becomes negative 2000 2 to the power 15 to power 2 to the exponential 15. That means negative 32768 to 2 to the power 15 minus 1. So equal, that means equal, its forms negative 32768 to positive 32767 including 0. Yeah. And similarly for integer types variables, since integer type takes 4 consecutive memory bytes, so among the 32 bytes, the leftmost bit number 31, so we are starting from bit 0 to 31, so bit number 31 is used to reserve to contain the sign bit, and other so other 31 bits are from bit 0 to bit 30. These are used for containing data. So the range became, for an integer type, the range becomes so negative 2 to the power 31. That means negative 2, so this is large number, 2147483 648 to 2147483 648 minus 1. That means 2147483 3647 including 0. And similarly for a long type, it takes 8 consecutive memory spaces. Okay, so then except the leftmost data bit, it will have 63 data bits. So these bits from 0 to bit 62, so these data bits are used for storing data, actual data. So based on different combinations, 0 or 1, 0 or 1, the value for a byte types, for a long type, could go from negative this number to positive this number including 0, a very large number. So when we will deal with a very large number, so then we will use a long type, and then in other cases we will use integer or short types. Okay, for instance, when you deal with light distance in a year or 2 years, for 5 years, how far light rays go in 1 light years or 2 light years. So in order to calculate that very large number, we will use long type variables. So we will show in our program how we use a long type variable. But so now let's come about character type. So as you know, character type is unsigned. That means here you have seen that here is character type is unsigned, especially it contains 2 bytes. Okay, it takes 2 bytes. So for character type, so there is no sign bit. So unsigned means there is no sign bit. So all bits from bit 0 to bit 15, all 16 data bits are used to contain data. So then that all 16 bit could be 0. Okay, so the lowest number, it contains 0, and then all 16 bits can be ones, all ones. So that for all ones, the range will, the highest number will be, the maximum number will be 2 to the power 16 minus 1. That means 65535. So from 0 to 65536, a total 65536 different values can be stored in a character type variable. So as you know, mainly character types are variables are used mainly for storing character variables, so character values. So we'll come that later. So but now let us spend a minute to understand the difference between a character type and short type. As you know, both character type and short types both take 2 consecutive memory bytes, but the difference, remember that for a short type variable, it has a sign bit, okay, but for a character type there is no sign bit. So for a character type variable, all 16 bits are used as data bit, but for a short type variable only the 15 bit are used for storing data, but then the remaining leftmost bit is used for storing the sign. Okay, so the range for a short type becomes half of this, should be pretty half of this, okay, half of character type. And since in character type there is no sign bit, so all 16 bits are used for containing data. So this is why the range differs from short type to character type. Yes, and character type there is no zero value, no negative values over here for character type. Okay, so mainly character types are used for storing characters, alphanumeric values. So as you are familiar with ASCII code, this is the basic ASCII code, 8-bit ASCII code that contains from 0 to 127. So this is 8-bit earlier version of the ASCII code that contains 8-bit or 1 byte memory space. But the recent most ASCII code that we know that it is used as Unicode. Unicode system, it contains it contains almost all of the characters of all languages, that has, like as we saw here, 65,536 characters it most can contains. So when we had in earlier version of computer programs, when we used normal ASCII code, that means 8-bit ASCII code, then it could contain only basic English, so English and some special characters and the numeric values. But the extended ASCII code, that is also 32-bit 16-bit ASCII code, later that is converted to extended to Unicode system. So the Unicode system has the Unicode system contains all a very large number of character set. So you can read more about Unicode system on Wikipedia or on this site. So I got this picture from this site. So then let's wrap up our talk about introduction to type system by looking back to this chart. These are for Java primitive data types. So for other languages like Python, C#, almost these ranges are same. So we will see while we do program, we will be able to find the max value and mean value of each of these types. So we will see in our program course. So you don't need to remember all of these ranges, but you can remember something like, for instance, an integer type, that how a large variable it can contains for maximum and minimum, and if needed you can do a Google search. So definitely, so actually why we need to know and care about data types? Okay, the answer is actually while we write our program. So while we write a short program, the data type doesn't matter. Okay, so for instance, for writing a short program, we can assign an integer type variable or a long type variable. But as we know, if we assign a long type variable, that it will take more memory spaces. Memory means RAM, random access memory. But for instance, if I have only 100 students in a class, if I want to give them a serial number from 0 to 99 or 1 to 100, then it will not be a wise decision for me to assign a variable as a serial number of long type or even integer type, because a lot of memory space will be misused or unused. But since for a short program, so we will not be able to differentiate any memory misuse or long consecutive time execution time. So actually for short programs this will not vary, but for while developing large programs, so while working with big data set, then definitely programmers need to be sincere and need to be wise and in defining the variables with appropriate data type. Otherwise there will be a possibility of time consuming, misuse of time, and misuse of memory space. Okay, so please watch this video, and then if you find any mistake, please let me know, and if you have any questions, please let me know. And finally, if you like this video, please give a like, give a click on like, and subscribe to the channel of CSIT Experts online forum. Thank you so much. Bye bye.